Hi, this is Allison from Sewing and Trifocals, and I'm skipping the logo today, but I wanted to show you what I did. I have attached my smartphone and its little tripod to my big camera tripod to take film today of my Serger-Beading technique, and I even got it to focus really nicely here on the throat plate and the needle and everything else. And I tell you, my settings are, since I've got the camera set up really nicely, I won't show you the dials, but I'll tell you, we have no left needle in, so that's set at 0. The right needle set at tension of 1.5, 1.5. The upper looper's at 3, and the lower looper's at 6. And I arrived at that after reading the manual and sort of playing around with it. And these settings are for both, they work both for the regular rolled hem, and they also work for the rolled hem with beads attached. I didn't have to change anything. So you can see that I have the needle all the way down. It's going to be on the left of the beads, and the looper is going to move over the beads from right to left. The upper looper will move over the top of them. The lower looper will be doing the rolled hem. You can't really see the lower looper right now. But anyway, so step 1, I leave the door open for a little bit so I can slip the beads in, and you'll notice the knife is up. I tried it with the knife down. That was just too many things that could possibly hit the beads, which could dull the knife, or somehow something else might hit the beads if I was trying to avoid the knife. So I just have the fabric right at the edge of under the edge, I should say, the presser foot. And that's worked out really fine. And of course I took a lot of great video of that with my regular camcorder, but I still haven't gotten the computer and the camcorder to talk to each other. So anyway, I've loaded up the beads. And we're going to start at the back of my garment, because I'll start and end there, and then I'll take my thread tails and sew them under. So first we turn our garment right side out, and I wanted to show you something on the inside here too. I did reinforce the shoulders. First of all, I sewed them together at kind of a, let's see if you can see this here. All you can see is my hand. That's interesting. Hang on a minute. Let me try this. Let me stand up and look at the screen here. Okay, here we go. I used the clear elastic to reinforce the shoulder on the inside with the 3-step zigzag stitch, which sometimes came out a little strange. I might have had a dull needle in there, but anyway, this has a little bit of stretch, but it's going to keep the shoulder nice and strong. So I know where the back of my garment is, because at the start of the pattern cutting process, the instructions had me pin a safety pin to the back of each sleeve so that I'll always know where it's at. So now I'm going to take the garment's back, the middle of the back, because why not, right? This is probably the last place everybody will look. I'm going to slide my garment under the presser foot, and it's lined up right with the edge, and we do have some curves. I don't have differential feed, so this left hand of mine is my differential feed. I discovered if I kind of stretch out a little bit or flatten the fabric as I go, that makes a better result. And also you can go around the curve with your using your left hand to gently guide the fabric, and I had just great results, which I filmed, and like I said, I can't get that great result onto the computer, so I'm back to using my camcorder. Good grief. But, you know, you live, you learn. And this has been very good for me, good learning experience. And I've got kind of my indexy finger here on the beads to kind of keep them straight in the back. Right hand's holding on to them in the front. You see how nice that is? Now watch, I'm using my thumb. I'm losing my voice, but I'm using my thumb to gently guide the curved fabric. This you can't really do this fast at first anyway, and it just comes out terrific. I'm so happy with this, and I thank the many YouTubers who had videos about beading on here, and it was interesting to experiment to get it to come out nicely. And I've got a good system here now. So of course I wrote it down. I wrote down the tension settings, the stitch length, everything. So the next time I try to do this, if I forget how I did it, I've got it in my little serger manual. It's in the back. I have it in a little notebook. I'm also guiding the fabric a little bit with my right hand that's holding the beads anyway, so I have the fabric between my two fingers. It's kind of weird. It's just instinctive, I guess, after a while. You can go a little bit faster as you get more comfortable. See, it's coming out nice and smooth here. This is terrific, and the beads are well held on. They're not going to fall off. The hem is very sturdy. This should last for a long time. I may hand wash it though, so that the finish doesn't get rubbed off the beads somehow in the washer or the dryer. Oop. Let's see now. I wasn't paying attention. Let me just lift that. There we go. I almost got hung up there. Got to pay attention to everything I'm doing here. So here we go. I'm going to make sure the presser foot's down. Never mind. Second guessing myself. And it's gentle. You're not hanging on for dear life, but you're gently guiding everything. The beads and the fabric. Make sure I have some more loose beads here. I may run out of beads and have to run back to Hobby Lobby with Joanne here. I don't know. But once you get the hang of this, this is really quite relaxing, and it also has a beautiful result. And if you guide it carefully, no needles hit any beads. No loopers get tangled up in the fabric. I did all that by mistake. I learned making mistakes and also trying different settings. And I'm glad I did try and fail and try again until I got it right. So I definitely would say that the rolled hem technique is the better technique. The first thing I tried was just serging the beads with a regular serge stitch. And the fabric puckered. It just wasn't good. So, but it was worth trying just to see what would happen. See, you can get going pretty fast here. And now I'm going over the shoulder. And then we'll be headed towards the front. So I think I'll put it on pause and then I'll show you what happens at the end, because this is already pretty long. Okay, so I'm getting towards the end of this. This was much shorter than the first row that I did, which was all the way around the bottom where my hips are and all the way up and blah, blah, blah. It took forever. So here I am, just carefully stitching till I get to where I started. This has a lot of potential. You could also use what they call rat tail cord as a decorative edging, especially if you use transparent serger thread. You use exactly the same technique and the same foot, apparently. This is what I read anyway. And also seen on YouTube. And of course this can also be done with the creative feet foot that's called the pearls and piping foot on your regular zigzag sewing machine. Later on I'll demonstrate that now that I've got the 2 tripods and a smartphone thing figured out. And here I am coming up to the end. Yeah. So hopefully I won't screw up at the last minute. because that would be embarrassing. It looks like that's all the further it's going to go. So when I'm at the end, I actually make all the tensions go to 0 so that I can wiggle out of this. I'll just bring the needle up and then sort of wiggle your hand wheel. I'm also going to snip the beads before I pull them out. And that way when you pull this out, you'll get some long thread tails also, so that you can, and then later on, there they are, then you can hand stitch these under, you know, and it looks like I will have to hand attach a few of these beads because I just couldn't get them to go under the foot too close to this one. But that's okay. It'll look really wonderful when it's done. You can see I've done all the way. I have, this is the sort of the outside back, and that's where they met there, and I did the same thing. You see, I'm going to look through the camera and make sure I'm showing you. I am, okay. And then this is the top of the garment. You're looking at it from the back. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can see this better. So there it is. That's the top of the garment from the back, from the front. And I'm going to edge the sleeve. I have a free arm feature on here so I can fit the sleeve around too. So anyway, I'm very encouraged about this, and I hope that you'll be brave like I was and try this to decorate your own garments. Happy sewing!